Hello and welcome. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina program, and today's fly is the Flashback Pheasant Tail Nymph. This has, you can see it there, has the tinsel coming over the top. It's a opal tinsel, so when it's under the water it creates a ton of flash. The materials that we're using for this, the hook is an Umpqua TMC 3769 nymph hook, size 14. For the tail and body, we are using pheasant tail, 5 to 6 strands. For the thorax, we are using Peacock Hurl. For the flashback, we're using Mirage tinsel, medium, opal in color. To secure the pheasant tail, we're using ultra wire, copper, size small. And the thread we are using is uni thread, 72 an arm, 8/0, color camel. So let's get started. Make sure the hook is secure in the vise. And let's start our thread right behind the eye of the hook. And let's secure it. There's several wraps. And let's remove the tag. From here, let's carry the thread down to about the point of the hook, and now we're going to add in our copper wire. And we're going to secure this all the way down to the bend of the hook. Like so. Now what we want to do is we want to grab 5 to 6 strands of pheasant tail. And it really doesn't matter. You can grab as much as you want if you want a thicker fly. But the trick is to pull them straight. Pull them straight. And then I just yank it off. I don't remove the stem portion of it because it's going to be cut off anyway. So now what I like to do is I like to bring it around the thread and trap it on top of the hook shank, and then I'll use my fingers to guide it in to see how long I want it. And essentially you just want it a little bit longer than a hook gap. So from there I'm just going to put 2 wraps in, and then I'm going to bring my thread forward. And we want to taper that down, and we want to be about 2 eye lengths behind the eye of the hook. Now let's bring our pheasant tail and just wrap it carefully around the hook point, around the shank of the hook, and just bring this to your thread. And just take your time, and that's where we want to end up. You don't want to go too much further than that because we're going to be putting the Peacock Hurl in, and we want to save space for that. So just come in and put some wraps forward and back to secure it. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure our thread's out of the way and trim that down as close to the shank as possible. And then we're going to come back in and just secure it. Now let's take our copper wire, and we're going to counter wrap the opposite direction so we can secure the pheasant tail nice and firm to the shank of the hook. And the reason we want to do this is because if we're catching trout they have teeth. And if you don't use the wire, then you'll just be able to fish this maybe once, because all that peacock, not peacock, but the pheasant tail will be shredded off the back of the hook. So from here we just want to helicopter the wire off. And now we want to add our opal tinsel. I'm going to cut this large strand down because it's been giving me issues. Okay, so we're going to come up underneath. And this is, I teach my guys just to go ahead and instead of trying to place this on the top of the hook and trying to wrap it down, I just go up underneath, capture it with the thread, and it makes it 10 times easier. So once we get that on top, we can cinch it down and make sure it's still going to be, what we want to do is make sure it remains on top of the shank of the hook. Sometimes when you tie things in, it tends to twist to the other side of the hook, and will make things a little more difficult. So we just want to make sure that this is secure on top of the shank of the hook. Alright, from here what we want to do is grab our Peacock Hurl. I guess it would help if I was pulled this out prior. Okay, and essentially we're just grabbing 2 strands. I'm going to grab and size them up. And what we want to do is we want to remove the white part and the stem part of it, because what we want is we want the rainbow color of the actual peacock, the fibers. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove this like so, so we get the good part of the fibers. And so now I'm just going to tie that in. Let me put this back into my... And let's just tie this in. We don't want to impede on the eye of the hook. I'm going to grab that and get that out of the way because that's bugging me. Alright, just make sure it's nice and tight in there, and I'm just going to bring the thread to the eye of the hook. Now what you want to do is you want to kind of twist this so they don't separate when you're wrapping around the shank of the hook. And we're just going to wrap it and build it up. And you really can't see the colors of the Peacock Hurl on the camera. We'll stop there. Okay. And oops, don't want to do that. Alright, we're going to unwrap it and redo it. And just take your time. Like I said, I'm gonna twist these together so they won't separate on me. And we're just gonna wrap it again. If it comes apart on you, just unwrap it and redo it. If it breaks on you, then just untie it. Yeah, it keeps on slipping on you right there. Okay, I'm going to go back. There we go. And now I'm going to secure it. And you just want to make sure you're not impeding on the eye of the hook. Okay, so now we're going to remove this remaining Peacock Hurl. Try to cut it as close as you can without cutting your thread. And I can get a little bit more. Let's see if I can without. Here we go. And that's good. You just want to make sure you can see the eye of the hook. So now we want to take the tinsel and bring it right over the eye of the hook. And that looks good. And then I like to bring it back, and just to make sure it's nice and tight in there taut. Okay. Oops, it's popping off. Okay. So here I like to go ahead and put a whip finish in it. Save my work. And that's looking good. And then come in here and remove this remaining tinsel. And there we go. We have the flashback pheasant tail nymph. I will be instructing this on the coming up here on Thursday. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina program, and we thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section. The material list will be in the comment section as well. We appreciate you watching. This is the second fly of February, which was delayed. Now it's March's fly. And like I said, we'll have to triple up with some of our flies later on in the year. Thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing from you. If you like the video, please like and share to your federal your other veterans or groups. Thank you very much.